I have to tell you, it didn't pop up. So I'm trying to search and like look for you. And I was like, oh well, we'll find
Everybody
you.
is, right? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with me, darling.
Thank you.
Ah, this is so great. And yes, can you see what I can see? Yeah,
Well,
thank
I
you,
can see
darling.
what
I
you
know
can
that's
see.
Melissa's. Okay, everyone. So, will people still be able to join, or do I have to pay any attention from here out?
I think we're good because I can read what they're doing. So I think we're solid. And if not,
Can you
we'll put,
reply? Yeah.
yes, I will reply and we'll
Okay,
see
cool.
what happens. How about
Yeah,
that?
right.
Okay.
Hit Tasha for me.
Okay.
I see that she just joined.
Yeah.
And so,
Okay.
okay.
Nice.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys. And look, got new nails. I'm rocking the
I know.
blue and the
I'm
sea green so that
I'm
I
not showing
can
mine.
be healing. I'm healing the world with my nails. Hey, Tasha, darling. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Margie, for coming back
Yay. Thank you
and
for
helping me do this. Yeah, I need you, girl. Okay.
we
Thank
all
you,
need each
Sister
other.
Shaman. Yes,
Yeah.
and that's why that was the ultimate decision, was that our circle needs to gather as often as we possibly can to at least hold the light. That's my job, and that's what I needed to go into prayer about today. Sort of, what is my purpose? What do I want to say? What do I want to talk about? Um, and what do I want to invite you all to ask, or to, to discuss whatever's on your mind. I really feel like staying in my lane is addressing the energy and the cycles and where we are. And this week in particular, because we are going to still try to do Tuesdays. I don't know if I'll get this
Yeah.
uploaded or not, but we'll keep trying.
We're gonna keep
So
trying.
we'll stay in this week for right now, but we know that this week is affecting reverberations for many, 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 many years to come. And so all of our intentions are very important, and where we maintain our focus and flexibility and center point, like how to get back to your center when the world peace can get you out of your center. So for me this week, I need you to know that we're approaching solstice. Summer solstice is a high holy day. Winter, spring, summer, fall are the movements of the wheel that we all feel. And there's action and decisions and choices and things that come up during that time. And that's essentially Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, Libra time of year every year. So you can learn to get your body to feel that if there is more activity and more choices and decisions that have to be made, get used to it. Like, figure out how to work the seasons according to your nature. So I always joke that I'm kind of backwards. So sometimes when the rest of the world's going this way, I'm kind of going the other way. And so if you're backwards, that's okay. But, there's quite a bit of people who stay on the natural rhythm and work it just fine. So just knowing where that is. If you know it's more intense for you in fall, then do your work in the spring. If you know it's more intense in the summer or winter, some people get, what is it called? Cabin fever, when you're stuck inside too long. So be ready to counterbalance the things are a natural rhythm, are part of the natural rhythm. And then do your best to be effective during the strong times when your energy is up and it's really there. So
And those
right
times
now, go
also
ahead.
can be like just so because there is the rhythm, the spring, summer, winter, fall, right? But we can have those in our daily cycle throughout the day as well. Like
Yes,
I know I'm a
yes.
morning and I like 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm like happy,
Hmm.
everything's still. By like 9 o'clock at night, I'm not going to be writing a book. I'm just
Right,
not do
totally.
that. So use those times to best
Right.
serve when we don't have to expend so much energy. And that,
Yeah. So I think this summer solstice is extra special for a couple of reasons. Mercury retrograde in Cancer is already helping us to process our feelings and digest what's coming up. And basically, I want to encourage you to digest everything and let go of the waste. Let the processes remove the toxicity from your system any way you can, whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. Wherever you're blocked or upset or disrupted in your system, that's where you want the healing energy to go. One of the things I probably should lead with is that you'll always hear me say, take the names and faces off. It's just energy. That's about the only way I'm gonna be able to go at things right now.
for real.
Because I need it to just stay in the energy. When it's energy, I can deal with it. If I start attaching faces and people and stuff to it, it gets, ego gets involved, my heart gets involved, like all kinds of things get involved that I need to stay neutral about. And I encourage everyone to just dig into your practices, whatever you got, and when one doesn't work, segue to the other one, and if you can't find any of your tools that are going to help you today, that's when you reach out for help from the rest of us. You call somebody that's got ideas or something to say, some support. So thank you, Sister Shaman, because I wouldn't be here if I hadn't talked to her first. So
well, and also we zoom out a little bit, right? Like I know one of the things that I do is I'll get caught up in emotionally, like I talked to you this morning, and it's like, okay, pull back and look at the energy and the timing of everything. And then I can get centered and have a clearer focus and be the best I can be in any given moment.
I can't control everything else, right?
Yeah.
I can only control me. So I have to come back into my zone. And I've had years of this in my family early on, in extended family later, that thought I was selfish and wrong for self-preservation. And I'm sorry, if I can't do anything about that, that can't have my energy. So I need to be in the lane of effectiveness. My Virgo won't stand for anything less. And at the same time,
doesn't that give you a clearer perspective? And for me, when that happens, it gives me the ability to make choice that resonates with the energy that I have right now, and maybe not with the resonance of everything else that's going on.
Yeah, and my big thing is I've always had to be authentic. I'm not good at faking the funk, and if I have to fake it, I'm not good at faking for more than 2 seconds. So everybody knows.
So it's all a distraction so that we all become afraid and give up and go back to hiding our authentic selves. It's just the devil playing with us. It's called a bluff. Call the devil out shame. Call the devil stop.
That's right. Tell the truth and shame the devil. I do it all the time. And so we just, but you have to know your truth, and you have to, and that's the time of weakness or instability that I might have been feeling this morning about my truth that I do know. And it is my heart and soul. And I know how to do that. What I don't know how to do is be politically correct. I don't know how to always say and do the right thing. So I'm going to make mistakes, but I always trust that my heart is in the right place, and that I am doing everything in my power to frame things properly for my audience, whoever I'm talking to, whether it's my husband audience or some people I don't know. Like there's people here today. I know some of you, but I don't know everybody. So this is back in our center of control, back into what we can do. And a lot of that goes to clarifying your mind, getting clear inside you of what is the lesson and purpose right now? What's the goal? So today, our goal is always every Tuesday to talk about the energetics and how do we navigate. And let's pull a few cards and get some guidance from our guides, from angels, ancestors, animal spirit guides. And it always gives us clues. It always answers our questions. It always helps make us feel better. So without dismissing the importance and the validity of the power of what's moving in the universe right now, I think we still need to clarify along the way. And that's asking the questions. And so my question today was back to Women Who Run with the Wolves on what in the psyche needs to be healed, and what can we address with this solstice work that we're laying out now. Because you better believe the warm-up is now. We're in it. We're in the zone. We're in the eclipse portal, which I do, by the way. I have a $75 reading for the eclipse portal. There's a Mercury retrograding reading that's really, inexpensive like that too. So we can check in to see how it's just affecting you and your chart. But this is so big, and on top of it is the eclipse. So we have always, when summer solstice comes, it's the sun at 0 degrees Cancer. The fact that the moon is there and there's an eclipse is a reset to what we refer to as world points, because it affects the whole world when things like this align or line up this way. So we can use that energy to reset ourselves back to a 0 point of basic new beginning, like an entirely new way to do this. It happens to be in Cancer, which America is a Cancer country, so we can reset all this. It has to do with respect and love for the mother or the motherland. Every one of us came from Africa, period. That's just the way it is. So we honor the mother, and the better we can do at coming back into honoring that source within us and around us, the better we can do the rest of this. The better we can be the family, the children of Earth that we are, and not fight so much amongst ourselves. So I opened, and I knew what I wanted to read, but I didn't think I would just open to it. But it was Stuck in Old Rage. And so our whole thing is about rage to outrage right now. Rage is paralyzing and immobilizing and will take you out. It burns you at your energy and your fuel for anything good. And so, yes, they are banking on that we wear ourselves out and just quit. So we want to channel that into what can we do. Now, I'm not on Capitol Hill anymore. So, and I've never worked there in the capacity to make laws or to write things into legislation that would help and serve. But I know energy and cycles and patterns. So I stay here in my zone of expertise for now, because that's what's going to help us do it. And yeah, this is the rage to outrage, helps us transmute that anger into something useful that brings us to this new stage as well. And we're so supported. So if and when rage again becomes a dam to creative thought and action, then it must be softened or changed. For those who have spent considerable time working through a trauma, whether it was caused by someone's cruelty, neglect, lack of respect, recklessness, arrogance, ignorance, or even fate, there comes a time to forgive in order to release the psyche to return to a normal state of calm and peace. When a woman or when a person has trouble letting go of anger or rage, it's often because they're using rage to empower themselves. While that may have been wisdom at the beginning, now we must be careful, for ongoing rage is a fire that burns your own primary energy. To be in this state is like speeding through life, pedal to the metal, trying to live a balanced life with the accelerator pressed all the way to the floor. Neither is the fierceness of rage to be mistaken as a substitute for a passionate life. Deep breath. Some people confuse that and sort of stir up trouble because they want to feel that passion and intensity, but they do it the wrong way. It is not life at its best. It is a defense system that once the time of needing it for protection is past, costs plenty to keep. After a time, it burns interminably hot, pollutes our ideas with its smoke, and occludes other ways of seeing and apprehending. Now, I'm not going to tell you a big fat lie and say that you can cleanse all your rage today or next week and it will be gone forever. Okay, so my first girlfriend I called, she was like, it didn't get here in a day, it ain't going away in a day. So we all have to sort of pace ourselves here. The angst and torment of times past rise up in the psyche on a cyclical basis. Okay, so now we're back. To my domain is to remind you that exactly where we are with the cycles is the American Revolution and where all this shit started.
Yes.
So, and you go back even further, there's other cycles reverberating from 500 years ago, which was a whole initiation of the slave trade. And then you go back 750 years ago and it's England and all there and the whole colonization idea and concept. So we can purify that and we can reset it with like a vision of what, right. We are a family and the world knows and the world is watching and participating. That's the other beauty of people standing up around the world for us. I wouldn't even expect that. Like, I was surprised to hear how many people even care that we figure this out. But they also know it affects the world. Everything America does seems to leave its imprint somehow.
Everything we all do leaves an imprint.
Yeah, exactly.
It's when we think we're in a bubble, the reality is we are not. And there's a ripple effect for every action and reaction that we do. And we're going through a trauma response of a collective that's being supported fully by all of these planetary alignments. And in that, we have the ability, you've been through trauma, I've been through trauma, we go through stages. And so that reaction, and now it's like, we know how to handle that in a much better way
Mm-hmm.
if we stop and focus and get centered, right? You know,
If you can, always
if you
try,
can.
make the effort, right? And some days it's going to work and some days it's not. And some
Oh,
days it's kind of like you just got to move through the energy.
I
But
told you about my morning, right?
right,
Remember?
I love you. I love you for being here. So
We
the
all go
angst
through it.
and torment of times past rise up in the psyche on a cyclical basis. Although a deep purging discharges most of the archaic hurt and rage, the residue can never be completely swept clear. But it should leave a very light ash, not a hungry fire. So the clearing of residual rage must become periodic hygienic ritual. So let's claim that. Melissa, what you got? I know you got something from the Vedic tradition we can do.
Yeah.
One that releases
Mr.
us.
Shaman said there is no time in creator, universe, source.
That's right. There is no time in God. So we carry old rage beyond the point of its usefulness is to carry a constant, if unconscious, anxiety. Sometimes people become confused and think that to be stuck in an outdated rage means to fuss and fume and to act out and toss and throw things. It does not mean that in most cases. It means to be tired all the time, to carry a thick layer of cynicism, to dash the hopeful, the tender, the promising. It means to be afraid you will lose before you even open your mouth. Been there, done that. It means to reach flashpoint inside, whether you show it on the outside or not. Definitely been there. It means bile, like bile moving up
Yeah.
and through your system, entrenched silences. Ooh. It means feeling helpless, but there is a way out, and it is through forgiveness. And then she screams, "Oh, forgiveness," you say. Anything but that. But you know in your heart that someday, sometime, it will come to that. It may not come until the deathbed time, but it will come. Consider this. Many people have trouble with forgiveness because they have been taught that it is a singular act to be completed in one sitting. That is not so. Forgiveness has many layers, many seasons. In our culture, there is a notion that forgiveness is 100% proposition, all or nothing. It is also taught that forgiveness means to overlook, to act as though a thing has not occurred. This is not true either.
It's not.
A woman who can work up a good 95% forgiveness is doing good. Of something or someone tragic and damaging almost qualifies for like sainthood. If she is 75% forgiving and 25%, I don't know if I can ever forgive fully, and I don't even know if I want to. That is more the norm. But 60% forgiveness accompanied by 40%, I don't know and I'm not sure and I'm still working on it, is definitely fine. A level of 50% or less forgiveness qualifies for a work in progress status. Less than 10%, you've either just begun or you're not really trying. Deep breath. But in any case, once you've reached a bit more than halfway, the rest will come in time, usually in small increments. The important part of forgiveness is to begin and to continue. The finishing of it all is a life work. You have the rest of your life to work at the lesser percentage. Truly, if we could all understand, all could be forgiven. But for most people, it takes a long time in an alchemical bath to come to this. It is all right. We have the healer, so we have the patience to see it through. Some people, by innate temperament, are more easily able to forgive than others. For some, it is a gift. For most, it has to be learned as a skill. Essential vitality and sensitivity seem to affect the ability to pass things off. High vitality and high sensitivity do not always allow wrongs to be passed off easily. And this is totally Cancer moon, Cancer sun, Cancer time, because the Cancer energy is all personal. I am a
Yeah.
Cancer, so I'm speaking from my own heart that if you violate me, it's personal. And so it's a tough road to walk here. So if you're highly vital and full of life, and I am, and vitality, and you're highly sensitive, you're going to pick these things up. And you're also going to see things others don't even see because of that sensitivity. You know, others don't even notice some of the stuff I notice. You are not bad if you do not forgive easily. You are not a saint if you do. Each to their own, and all in due time. To truly heal, however, we must say our truth, and not only our regret and pain, but also what harm was caused, what anger, what disgust, and also what desire for self-punishment or vengeance was evoked within us. The old healer of the psyche understands human nature with all its foibles and gives pardon based on the telling of the naked truth. Deep breath. She not only gives second chances, she most often gives many chances. Let us look at the 4 levels of forgiveness. These stages I've developed, and this is Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes. We love her and respect her work immensely. She's developed and used in her work with traumatized people over the years. Each level has several layers. These can be dealt with in whatever order and for however long one desires, but I've listed them in the order I encourage my own clients to begin. Number 1 is to forego, leave it alone. Number 2 is to forbear. That is to abstain from punishing yourself or anyone else. To forget is to push from the memory and refuse to dwell. And to forgive is to abandon the debt. So here I think is the big challenge for America is the debt, how to do that. And I still have to come back to sometimes, like when we loan money to certain people and they don't pay you back, I have other people bring me blessings in other ways. So I don't expect that energy to come back through that exact channel I gave it to. And nor do I expect if I've offended or violated someone for them to be able to come straight back to me, but I might get violated down the street. Like it still comes back on me either way. So that's back to, you know, working on yourself and being centered in who you are. Tasha, what pages? That is the chapter about rage.
While you get that, I'm going to tell you that Sister Shaman, the reason I skipped back a little bit is she said, yeah, spiritual hygiene and aura cleansing, they just did a workshop about it, and they're going to do one this week on chakras.
Yes.
So for any of you interested, you can.
In Chicago.
Yeah, in Chicago.
Well, I guess they're probably not in person. She's probably online.
I was like, probably Zoom. So someone can reach out and ask her about that.
Yes, tell her if she puts it on my page, I'll share it.
It is always us, yeah.
Okay.
If you put it on the page, she'll share it.
Here we go, my love. Was that Tasha asking about it?
That was Tasha.
Yeah, it's marking territory, the boundaries of rage and forgiveness. And it's heading to the chapter inside there was stuck in old rage and the 4 stages of forgiveness. So you can look it up in the table of contents. And so this is where we're at. Do we want to pull some cards on it? Does anyone have anything to contribute? Is anyone working on their rage right now? Like, is this timely or should we switch gears? You know, I don't know.
I'll say it's definitely timely, and we can see that in the collective and just how the micro and the macro are affected by everything like we talked about, right? I think it's important to pull some cards on it because of what.
Okay, let's shoot for this Cancer family piece. Okay, yeah. Sister Shaman's workshop will be Zoom.
Yes.
And the Cancer, the 0 point of possibilities, the utter reset that is possible, the reverberations to the years in the eclipse cycle that is what these are pinging and making activate old times from the late 80s, early 90s, from the late 90s, early 2000s, from 2010 to 2013. You know, there's some reverberations all across the board with a lot of this. So
that's what it was just Sister Shaman was just saying that about a time that you guys spent, you know, and had the same reading 20 years ago, right? Yeah.
And so we've been working on this a very long time and holding the vision for success in various ways. of getting healthy and healing. But, you know, that's how I ended up in the work that I'm in now, is because I believe if the individuals get it together, the globe will be okay. And so we have to find ways, but then you recognize the insufficiency in the world. You know, who's got access to information and wellness and healing and help or support of any kind, you know. So that's where I Love Pixie Lighthorse has pushed us all, and it was part of our vow ceremony, was to commit to serving the world this way. So I'm still asking that question about, and certainly in the worldly sense, what I could contribute or what I could do. So what's she saying? I can see words, but I can't read them.
Everyone's agreeing, like, yes, someone else needed to hear that. And then, yes, pull cards for a greater perspective. Ask, what is our part now that we are here in the shift?
Yes.
We planned for all this 20 years ago.
Okay, which goddess can help us today? Deep breath. All right. Looks like the Celts want to really help us out here.
Whoop, whoop.
Hina is Polynesian, but I got 2 Celts and a Polynesian. I love it because my heart is definitely in Hawaii.
Energy. I'm going to read this real quick because they're scrolling pretty fast today.
Okay.
Fire energy of anger, which we love, so keep it scrolling. Fire energy of anger can also transmute to fire energy through the heart as compassion.
Absolutely.
A lot.
So I pulled Aryan Rod, who is, let's see, very pretty, multi-goddess. She is a matriarchal Welsh triple moon goddess, both virgin and mother. Famed for her beauty, she may be identical to the Cretan moon goddess, Aradne. I might be saying that wrong. Like all moon goddesses, she has a special love, concern, and responsibility for all life, especially for the green growing things of earth. One deviation on her name means high fruitful mother who turns the wheel of the heavens. The other is called the silver wheel. Her name tells us of her role as keeper of the heavens and of cycles and changes of time. She lives in a castle in the Corona Borealis, where she watches over souls in purgatory filled with beings awaiting rebirth. She is keeper of time, giver and nurturer of life, shows us the universality and cyclicalness of our lives. She is there to nurture us through the dark night of soul changes. And what do we say? This is the collective dark night of the soul, okay? Oh my God. Rhiannon, we love as definitely, she's Celt. She's definitely a Celt. And Rhiannon is the great goddess worshipped also by the Welsh. Okay, I'm totally wrong. She is an embodiment of life, death, and rebirth. For in her realm, there is no death without regeneration. Her name derives from Rigatonia, which means great queen. A shapeshifter, she can assume any form she wants. She often appears as a white horse. She is a muse goddess and is accompanied by 3 sweetly singing birds who can revive the dead or put the living to sleep. The source of the king's power derived from Rhiannon, the queen, and a candidate for kinghood met Rhiannon dressed as a stag, a regal figure symbolic of rejuvenation, beauty, strength, and instinctual masculine energy. In altar myth, she appears as Vivian, the Lady of the Lake. Rhiannon is a beautiful queen of the night, a reminder of the close balance between death and rebirth. She demands that we honor our instinctual and animal selves as a source of creativity, abundance, and order. First law of the universe is order. So I love this because we're on that death and rebirth cusp. The new moon, the solar eclipse is definitely new beginnings. Lunar eclipses have to do with endings. Now, in that sense, we have 2 lunar to 1 solar eclipse. In the eclipse portal, we're here. So we're definitely, where the bigger cycles are concerned, totally at an ending. There's so much that's over, and we're calling in the new beginning. However, in the year, we're going to have 2 back-to-back Cancer new moons. So we're getting a double dose with an eclipse for good measure to realign the pattern around how we relate with mother, whether it's the source of love and nurturing within you, or Mother Earth or your own mother, if you have a mother wound that you're working on, this is time, and this is the moon and the lunation and the month to dedicate some time to healing. With Mercury backwards in Cancer, we're learning to think with our feelings. We're learning to process stuff that most people bypass and keep going and never ever deal with. So now it's like being constipated. You got to do something radical to clear your system of all this crap that you can't use and that you can't do anything with. So let's get it out of there, lighten up so we can do something else. Hina is a beautiful Polynesian goddess, is our third one. Hina is said by some to be the greatest of the Polynesian goddesses. In certain tellings, she is the original creator of the world, the goddesses and gods, as well as human beings. One story tells of her love affair with an eel who was killed. Excuse me. She buries his head, and several days later, the first coconut tree springs forth from the grave. Hina is perhaps best known as the woman who lives in the moon. There she creates beautiful cloth from the bark of an old mulberry tree, which we see as clouds surrounding the moon. Hina represents the part of ourselves that creatively brings forth nourishment even in the middle of what appears to be death and decay. Oh my God, we couldn't have picked a better one, because Cancer is all about the quality nutrient, the nourishment that you take into your mind, body, and spirit. How do you do that? How do you feed yourself? And what do you allow into your system? Because you can have junk in your head just as much as junk food in your body. So it's important for us to be mindful. And yeah, it's a lot of work, but you got to think of it this way. This is what came to me and my husband. We talk about these things all the time, is that if we were still hunters and gatherers, we would have things to do. We wouldn't have all this time on our hands to be, you know, connecting with God and the spirits and all this good stuff where we can find ourselves or heal ourselves or even have that luxury, right? This is a luxury, but it's also the incoming, and we're on the crossover of the Aquarian age, where it is going to be much more intellectual and much more about less about feelings. Let's just say it's not going to be about the body and the feelings that we've been going through over the last age. In Pisces, it was body and spirit. In Aquarius, it's mind and heart. They have to be in alignment. So the next 2,500 years, if we want to call in any kind of vision, it's got to be that detachment that is necessary to see the whole that Aquarius brings to the table, that ability to see all of Mother's children as perfect, whole, and complete in and of themselves, and that Leo heart to honor the unique individuality that we all have as well. So it's something we can do, but it's going to take generations to heal generations.
But
so
it starts
again,
now. And Sister Salmon said, yes, the solstice is called the Ring of Fire, and is what we're in this, the final fire, where everything is being burnt up. Phoenix rising. Let's go. I have to show you. Keep chatting. I'm going to go grab a sculpture I have.
okay.
That was made for me, and I'll show it to her.
Okay, I'm going to get these other cards for another take on this and see what we can come up with here.
I don't know if you can see this.
Oh,
this was made. Can you see it?
So beautiful.
It's the centerpiece of one of my. So pretty. Yeah, it was a gift.
Nice. Oh,
coming out of the ashes. That's for Sister Shaman.
Yay. Thank you, love. I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so excited about, yeah.
I'm doing the Native American cards now.
All right.
And these are really good. And okay, so let's think. Rage to outrage, or we're resetting the family structure, honoring that we're a global family now, and borders are imaginary and made up. Deep breath, deep breath. What is our guidance as we approach summer solstice to reset ourselves as individuals and reset that connection to mother and nourishment and that which can feed and support and protect us? That's what Mother, Father, God does. Reliability, Father of Earth. So the grounded, practical masculine is very helpful. And above and below, this is funny. This is 6 of water is pleasure. So there is something to be said for humans being pleasure-seeking creatures. And the 2 of air, is it 2 of fire? Will. So we have free will and choice at the moment. Let's exercise that. And I also feel like, let's look at these numbers. 6 is definitely past the crisis of the 5. And I would say, let's get into our gratitude. But reliability, Father of Earth, the masculine aspect to our mother.
We have another question after you're done, so remind me.
Okay. Father Earth, bear with me. This one's hard. That's why I haven't used it in a while, too. All right, Father, I'm getting there. There he is. So the key words are, I'm sorry, reliability.
You go.
Digital work, harvest time, strength, thoughtfulness, benevolence, insistence, stability, discipline, and sometimes rigidity. So deep breath. The inner message is, it is important to strengthen your contact with the earth right now, meaning a certain amount of grounding is needed. This will give you greater stability and inner firmness. Just the thought of being able to rely on your own inner self can renew your strength. Focus on your earthly qualities at this time. Outward manifestation says, feel in what area you need more grounding. In order to complete an unfinished project, you need a sense of safety as well as internal stability. But work just for work's sake is not energizing enough, merely a burdensome necessity. Soulful work you do not even consider as work, provides the satisfaction you seek. That kind of energy investment strengthens your self-confidence and gives you the faith that you are on the right track. So just getting grounded and centered, reconnecting with your body, which is always what I think about with the pleasure card and the 2 of fire. Will, I'm curious about that one real quick, and then we'll ask that other question.
Okay.
2 of fire. So how we use our will right now is so critical. And what are we willing into existence? Because I know from my own self, I have 5 planets in Aries. So as a young person, I for sure willed some things into happening that were not good for me, but were a definite lesson. You know, I learned from that. So will, dominance, control, confidence in one's power, clear focus, positive action, and mastery of a situation. So deep breath. When I think of 2s, I also think of me and creator, me and my partner, me, and you're not alone. You don't need to manipulate anything inside or outside of yourself. If you just stay centered now, everything will turn out well. No self-control is necessary, just a loving connection to your real being. If you entrust yourself to its greater will, your conscious volition effortlessly moves and does what is needed at any given time. Positive events occur by themselves if you stay calm and collected now. When your life force can flow without your willful interference, you are on track. Your present task is to find the goodwill that nature gave you and let it do the work you used to take upon yourself. Deep breath. So I do think that is, trusting spirit, having a spiritual practice, having something to fall back on that's bigger than you, being part of the bigger story. So like I said, I can't cure racism today, but I can hold space for people to heal themselves as individuals. And that's what I do. I want to be part of the big piece, but big picture, and contributing my piece to that. Absolutely. And my life has been dedicated to this kind of healing for people who know me and grew up with me. So it's just where we're at. We're at a next level of healing. We're at the next level of awareness, the next level, the layers are getting peeled. People can't hide. Like I know from our calls from 20 years ago, talking about the transparency thing and how if you're not integrity, it's going to be so obvious. in the years to come, post 2012 and into the 2020s. And here we are. And this is what it means. It's like, if you're not walking your talk, it's real obvious to everyone. So, you know, and so we have to get in alignment. And nobody, like Clarissa said, we're not perfect. Rage isn't going to go away in a day. Forgiveness isn't going to come in a day. But we can do little pieces along the way to heal our souls so that forgiveness is even possible, you know.
And or I can speak for myself and a couple other people I know that are on who have gone through trauma experiences. When we do that, there are layers to that, right? And we have to remember and give compassion using that fire, right?
Totally.
As compassion for the healing process. Because in my own experience, I've gone through different emotions and reactions in the trauma experience in the healing process, right? And so as a group, that's what we want. Right? Yeah. Okay, what is the antidote that our anger is providing for the phoenix to rise?
What is the antidote?
Yep.
Does she want an animal or Osho Zen? Which card deck?
What card deck?
Okay, how about an animal? We haven't done animals yet.
Perfect.
Because that's who's going to help me with an antidote. Who's got the antidote? Who wants to help with that right now? This solstice going into our seed work, because a new moon is the void. This is where we are conceiving. We're not even to the seed part. Oh, she likes Osho Zen? Okay.
I want to.
Yeah. We'll do both. We'll do both.
We'll do both? Yeah. I was like, can we
We'll do both. We'll totally do both. Let's see. Well, there we go. I know Zen, I pulled intensity, which is just like totally a Kelly card, because basically in the text it says you're real intense and either some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it. You just got to deal with it. But above and below, the below card was harmony. So if we can get harmony within, above is guidance, is the angels that guide us out in the world. You know, like I said, always being alert to the signs and the symbols and where you're heading with things. Because we get alerts. We get alerts if we're in a danger zone. We get alerts if we're in a good, happy zone. You know, you get signals from the universe that you're where you're supposed to be for any given moment. And now let's see what animals want to help. With the phoenix from the rising, phoenix from the ashes. Who can help us with the rebirth and resurrection of life and vitality that is for us right now? The mother love and nutrient that's coming through the Cancer new moon solar eclipse. Which animals want to assist? All right. Again, I can't plan these things. But I basically pulled rabbit, which is proper use of cycles. And it's number 7 of Earth. Wolf was above. I think Wolf just keeps talking to us. That's what we got last time. And horse was below. Movement and balance. We still got to move. We still got to make decisions and choices and commitments. But let's stay balanced with that. And these were all earthy, all earth animals. We didn't get any water babies or anything, any birds. So again, with just staying present in your body, mind, and spirit, staying grounded. And earth can handle fire. You know what I mean? If we are feeling that blaze going, earth is the kind that can either keep it banked so that it warms us and feeds us and nourishes us, or it's a wildfire out of control. So let's use the earth for that and get back in our bodies, get present, because that's what's throwing us right now is that's mind-blowing crap that's going on that doesn't seem like it should even be possible in this day and age. And I, for one, have been asking the ancestors who have already fought this fight to help us right now. Like, where do we go? What do we do? Who do we call? You know, and so every one of those ancestors is available to consult with. And I think I might have told you all back in the day where I had Sacagawea come to me, like sometimes real ancestors come to me. So they may come to you as well, is my point, is that if you're alert or you're, like when we talk about affinity ancestors, the ones that we just resonate with, like Harriet Tubman or some of the Black movement people, that the Black Panthers, all of those guys that we love, Angela Davis. I don't think Angela's gone though. I don't think she's an ancestor yet. But there's just, those people are still, their spirits are alive in their children and in the world, and we need to call on them to ask how to go, how to navigate, what to do, how do we do this, how do we do it better, how do we do it right this time so that it's sealed and permanent, you know, as permanent as it can be, you know. Deep breath.
Yeah, I was going to read this for you. And any of you who don't know, Michael Harriot, I think his Instagram is at Michael Harriot. He's a published author. He has some great stuff out there right
Beautiful.
now. Really, telling us not to be afraid of the fire and the intensity, because we are being covered as above as below. Sorry, it's a little bit hard to read because there's and the intensity is what going to bring the harmony is what is going to bring the harmony. The diamond is made from the intensity of the pressure and the heat on the coal. We cannot get the harmony unless there's intensity.
That's right.
And intense. And this one, I don't know if you can. That one's like it's like triple. Can you see that?
Yeah. Is it Sister Shaman still? Telling you not to be afraid of the fire. Diamonds and we are
It's like two came in at the same time.
Okay, yeah, we cannot get to the harmony. I heard you do that part. Just like to stop at wildfire, you have to make another fire. We are the fire of the universe, and wherever we step is holy ground. And we are stopping the intensity and directing it the right way spiritually with the universe. Yes. Thank you, love. So, yeah, there's, you know, some of it's fire with fire. But that, what is it good for? My point is when you have any kind of emotions or feelings or things going up that are getting stirred up, what do you do with them? What's a proper channel? So try to get creative, try to dig in the dirt, again, with gardening, anything that grounds you, walking on the earth, laying on the earth, allowing the electrons to feed your body and soothe your system, because our nervous system is shot right now. Our mental is getting blown. Every day there's another real tragedy that's just too big for the brain to process. And so we, you know, back into prayer and simplicity, simplify, ease up your life. And if you really care, it's rage to outrage. It's mobilize and do something with your people and support your people out there as best you can. That's what I'm trying to do as well. And guide the young people who are on the front lines, really. I do believe some of the young people are not going to have this. So it might finally get over the hump that we didn't quite get over in the 60s. So, but again, with the planets, this is exactly the square, like 2012 to 2015 was Saturn and Uranus square was from the 60s. We initiated then. The 90-degree angle is happening right now. This is the push to how do we make civil rights work? How do we make it work in real time with real lives on the ground? And so this is the push to come up with those creative solutions that we can and to work together on them and to be open and honest and have a dialogue. Like we said, don't shut down, don't quit. You know, find another way. If this don't work, you find another way. And it's kind of, again, you do stick with your heart, what you care about, what you're passionate about. It could be women and children. It could be elders. It could be any number of things. It could be the food, like right now with the Cancer, new moon, solar eclipse. I really want to set some intentions around food because the food chain in our lives is really screwed up with the soil going down the drain. So there's all these things that are connected that we could focus on that also take us towards solution rather than get us mired in the downfall or the destruction. Yeah. And so this is tilling the soil. We're digging up the dirt to plant something new, you know.
And share those ideas. Like share the. Yeah. You know, the young people I know, there's quite a bit of discouragement and fear, right? Because this system that they have known to be a lie.
Right. Yeah. And it's something we all get there. Right. We all get to our 20s or 30s when we find out the lie. Exactly.
Well, they're like younger than that. Yeah. They're younger than that, and they're like, what the are you guys leaving me? Right? Like,
Hello. What
um,
did you do?
like, like,
Uh,
but then also teaching about
yeah.
gardening,
Right.
teaching those skills and working together in
Yes.
community and how we can do that, right?
Well,
And
when that's also with the civics in school. They took out civics, so nobody knows how to run a city. Nobody knows how to do basic civic duties because they've stopped teaching it. So
do you
there's a
think that was
lot
on
of things.
purpose?
Yes,
I
on
said, do you think?
purpose.
I'm just
Of
kidding.
course, on purpose. Of course.
Girl.
It is the dumbing down to keep them
Mhm.
stupid consumer Americans. I'm tired of being the dumb American, y'all. We got to do something better, and we can, and we are. I know people who are. So,
I do
hello, good
too. That's
morning.
why I
I know
said so.
people who are
Take
doing
advice
it well,
and
and we
I know
can
a
too.
ton of people who are doing it well, and that's where we show up because we
Hmm.
have been doing it and
Right,
teach those younger people and say,
right.
no, let's show you some real stuff. Let's show you what's real.
Hmm. Yeah, let's get
Right?
real. This virtual reality has collided with real reality,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a big piece of it too, everyone. So we have to heal that as well.
Yeah,
Because virtual's got its place, but it cannot run the show, as you can see.
that's
It
right.
cannot run the show. So it's a tool, it's an extra thing. It allows us to connect. I love it, but it's got its place in my life too. Most of the time, my stuff's on airplane mode. People go crazy with me because I don't usually keep stuff on like that. And it
Right.
just doesn't seem to be any reason for it. For me, I was just trained different. So anyway, we're wrapping up our time. We're getting down to the wire. People, please reach out if you need to. I am around. Venus Circle is kicking. We're checking in this Thursday for, and I've got to get that note out today to remind people to join me on Thursday. But it's just a check-in. It's not really officially on the books because we're just in such a zone right now. We really all have to touch base. And the eclipse and the solstice, everything is magical. So any candles you can light, any altars you can build, any kind of cleansing and purification you can do, it's supported that much more by the energies and the cycles. And then know that what little we can do reverberates and is affecting 7 generations back, 7 generations forward. Every little bit counts and is helpful. So thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you
you all.
so
And I wanted,
much.
Sister Shaman, maybe you can send that message to whole being, just because I don't know how to find them on Basmati because of the way the platform's set up about the
Oh,
Zoom
okay.
this weekend, because that might be something, an added gift for people who really want to learn how to do a clearing or a cleansing, right?
Right,
For
right.
her Zoom call.
Hmm.
And as always, Kelly, next week will be
Thank
super
you.
exciting. Thank you all for
We
showing
will
up
get
and for your
together. Yeah, next
patience
week is
and for your
huge,
patience.
y'all. Oh my God. Because we do have to talk about the Mars and Aries because that's gonna guide this rage to outrage piece.
Yeah.
So we gotta find some other way to channel the energies for the next 6 months to do better. Let's just say. So reach out if you need to. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Now.